Hi guys, we're back again. We decided to do an extra podcast this week because of something that happened. The synchronicity was, I can't even describe it. What about you, Harry? How are you, bro?
Yeah, we keep talking about these topics, and it seems like these same messages are just coming right back to us both about entities and parasitic and our loved ones and how we transition. It just seems like it's the same message over and over again. And we're, like you said, we're 9 hours, no, we're 15 hours apart.
Did you put your clock forward or back?
This is the season where we went forward, so we lost an hour.
Right, so with 15 hours difference. Okay. Yeah, so essentially, guys, what happened after we finished recording our podcast with Claudio, Harry and I were chatting, and Harry asked me a question, and the answer that I gave him, he kind of went, wow, that would make a great podcast. Exactly, by itself. So, do you want to run through that? What was the question you asked me, Harry?
If you want to just cut it here, because I swear I don't remember the question.
It was. Let me remind you. It was about, does time exist outside of this realm?
Oh yeah. We were talking about. A lot of times I think that if we leave our bodies and we leave the time realm, does all time stop for everyone? And you said, by all means, no.
Yeah, I think time is I think most of us know that time is a construct, and it's a construct of this realm because time is governed by the sun and the moon. And once you're beyond this realm, you're out of here. So no, I don't personally don't think time does exist outside of this physical realm. Yeah.
Exactly. As we get more and more dense, that's when time is relevant.
Well,
and that's the density.
A lot of people have suggested that time is kind of speeding up, and yeah, I kind of feel that sometimes. But what I also see is that, when I was a kid, a 60-year-old guy looked like a 60-year-old guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we had the spring break, I went to visit some friends. We went to my friend's parents' house. Now, my friend would be, I think he's 34, 35. His dad looks younger than him. And I'm not exaggerating. His dad looks younger than my friend. I mean, how old is this guy? He's 58 or something. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. He looks like he's just come out of university. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember you told me about that.
Yeah, really, really strange. So no, I don't think time exists outside of this this frequency, this realm. No. And the other thing that you asked me was, do we make a conscious decision to come into this realm? And the answer to that, I've kind of understood this for a long time. Yeah, I really think we do, but we did. We know this realm was hijacked a few hundred years ago. And it's my contention that those of us in what we might call our community, we made a conscious decision to incarnate for this time and take it back.
Yeah, I think we talked about how the only patriotic thing to do would be to put ourselves right back in this. Even if we knew it was going to be an ugly situation, we had to come back here in order to talk about and spread this truth to everyone so that we can help empower and equip everyone for this battle.
I agree. And what makes me even more confident that I'm right on this is, let's just imagine, we come out of our mother's waters, right? A mother's waters, I believe, is called the amniotic fluid, and we have amnesia, right? Yeah. So why would we agree to come back into this realm knowing that we're not going to remember anything from, we're not going to remember anything about the contract, the deal we made to come back into this realm? So the short answer, in my opinion, is that part of our agreement was that we would be given certain signs along the way. And those signs are not not necessarily recognized at the time until you get to a certain point in your life when you kind of wake up and think something's not right. And then you look back across your life and you join all these dots. Now, for me, it's number 11, and I've explained this to you many, many times. But for the guys listening, my birthday is October 1, right, which is 11. My name, Nigel, in Gematria is 11. My first and second name in Gematria is 11. And my full name in Gematria is 11. That's not by coincidence. My first child was born on November 11, 11. And I've got heaps more 11 connections that I could, I know I've told you, Harry, but I don't want to bore anybody. But if you can just see that, my birth date, my name, and my first child, 11, it's insane. But those kind of signs I didn't recognize at the time. Now, when I look back and I join all the dots, I'm like, wow. I got married on the 29th. We were, I was with my,
Those are all the breadcrumbs that we're talking about that would allow you, with having gone through that amniotic fluid, to be able to remember and go back and realize you're here for a purpose.
Yeah, I mean, we got married. I got married on the 29th. My second son was born on the 29th. I was with my now ex-wife for 29 years. The list just goes on and on and on. And I'm sure there's a bootload more that I've missed. But the connections are there without a shadow of a doubt. And the only logical conclusion that I can come to is that those signs were dropped along the way. As part of the original contract that we made to come back. And I think that, to me at the moment, that is irrefutable evidence. So what we want to get into, guys, when Harry and I were talking about this, he said he's going to go and make a PPT. So I'm going to share the PPT with you, and Harry is going to talk us through it.
So many people probably remember the old, not the original, but some of the older Star Trek episodes. And in this case, we have the captain, and she is going to be talking to what is perceived to be her father.
Okay.
So, and I named this PPT God versus Paras-ight. Sometimes we hallucinate and we think we see something that really isn't there. And these hallucinations are meant to confuse us, to misdirect us. And so when I speak misdirection, I mean the hint at the very bottom of this title page, don't go into the light.
Exactly.
Everyone tells us, oh, the light, it's illuminating. It is identifying something that you want to approach. What do I always say, Nigel, that the light is like? The light is like something that kills.
Yeah.
It's like the bug zapper, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. The bug zapper. All right. So we're gonna start and finish with some wordplay, because we know many of you guys out there like a bit of wordplay. So talk us through this one, Harry.
All right. So I was looking at the title of the PPT that we made, and I thought, oh, well, Paras-ight, paradise. Those two words are almost identical with just a few letters altered. And then what we do is we know that the letter T and D are often substituted in language. And so one goes in one direction and one goes in another direction. So vice versa, if you substitute D's and T's, you'll see that the word still has a cymatic frequency that's very similar: Paras-ight, paradise.
Yeah. So, and then I came across something a few days ago that paradise in Greek is paradisio and means a pen for keeping animals.
Yes.
Think Garden of Eden. We've talked about this at length, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Guarded den, a den that's guarded, So, again, we talk about paradise and Paras-ight. So Paras-ight and Paradise, D and T, you swap them out. And again, there's a little consequence. So when you alter the resonance of the word, the controllers don't care. We can go to the next slide. So then we can look at the sun and the moon. These are both matrices of both death and rebirth, where the sun is going to identify as the death matrix, and the moon is going to be the rebirth matrix. And if you put them together, they kind of create an 8, which is the infinite or infinite wheel of torture. You are told to follow the light when you die, only to be reborn out of the moon of sin. This is where we get that whole notion of the man of sin. We are not sinful, but we are born out of this matrix which is named sin when it is in a certain shape. Usually it's a crescent moon that takes on the sin name.
Well, the actual biblical meaning of sin is to miss the mark. That's all it means, to miss the mark. Exactly. I'm going to stop this screen share because I want to share something else. Now, guys, when I was talking of synchronicity, this popped in the day after Harry and I were talking about this. Right, can you see this?
Yes.
All right, just have a listen. It's only 50 seconds, but it's very, very important. Again, the synchronicity here, guys, is off the charts.
How are you doing, guys? My name's Carl. I'm a psychic medium, and something I wanted to talk about today was people ask me sometimes, do other people wait on the other side when you pass over? And the answer to this question is yes. When I've done several readings, I've been able to describe the person on the other side that's come to collect the person that's passing over. And I've seen this so many times, even a recent message that I gave to somebody quite randomly. So the answer to this question, guys, if you are wondering if there is anybody on the other side, does anybody come to collect you, does any loved ones come forward and wait for you, the answer is 100% yes. They do come. They come to collect you, whether it's your mum, your dad, your nan, your granddad, they do come to wait for you on the other side. So for me, I've got to say, it's very, very heartwarming to know that there is people waiting for us as we cross over. So
okay, so this guy is talking about people coming to meet us on the other side. Now, you know, obviously the guy's doing this with the best of intentions. So let's get back into the PPT and let's have a look at the other side. Oh, why won't that go back? Okay, let's just do it like this. Okay.
Okay. So when this gentleman on the TikTok video was talking about that someone is going to meet him on the other side, that means that he's already chosen to go towards the bug zapper. I mean, the matrix called the sun or the light. In this episode of Star Trek, Captain Janeway is met up with someone who claims to be her father.
Well, let's just put it in perspective. She's injured and she's unconscious. So what we're actually seeing is her near-death experience, right? We'll try and find the link to the to this and put it in the show notes. We can't play it, guys, because we're going to get hit with copyright. So we can't play it. We've had to do it like this.
So she is physically immobilized. She's unconscious, and they're doing all kinds of treatment to try to break her out of this this unconscious state. And so in her mind, she's imagining a meeting with her father. So she's injured, unconscious, and this demonic entity, we'll call it that, is in her head pretending to be her father, a familiar and emotional connection. Otherwise, you would not go to this light if it wasn't someone that you dearly cared about.
Yeah.
And this connection is someone who taught her in the past. So the father says to her, at least this entity, I'm appearing as your father to be a comforting voice to show you the joy in the crossover.
That is a huge truth drop. I'm appearing as your father.
Exactly. And it's the false, and I put it in italics because I actually added that in, because into the matrix of wonder, he calls it. And we all, remember the last show we did, matrix is the mother figure that is 13. That's what the tri and the X are going to include.
Yep.
But that's not what we're talking about in this episode, in this video that we're breaking down. And so he then says, "Come with me and see for yourself and avoid this death, the death that she's experiencing on the planet where she's being worked on." And then she has to respond, and in a very strong tone, she says to me, "My real dad would have never told me to run away from the unknown, but instead would have told me to face it and fight it and learn and grow. You are a vulture seeking out its victim at its most vulnerable time." And she is in a vulnerable time. She's injured, and she's going to have to rely on her strength to get her to understand that this is really not her father. So then when the parasite realizes that the captain is not going to be tricked, he pushes her away in disgust. And he says, "You can't be fooled into becoming food, so I'm going to push you away." And he physically says, "You are in a dangerous profession, and when you are weak, I will return and try again." Because, she's a captain. She's going to put herself in harm's way to help her crew. And here, in the next slide, the captain sends the false father back where he came from, Helios, which means the sun in Greek, which can also mean the son, as in the father's son. And her quote was, "If you truly had the power to take me and to make me come into the matrix, you would have, but you don't. You need my consent, and you don't have it."
That, again, is a huge, huge truth drop.
Yeah. This consent requirement reminds me of two other characters. You know the two characters, right? The two fishy characters. The first one.
Oh, yeah. The vampire. Yeah. And, of course, invite Jesus into your heart.
Yeah. Dracula can't come into your heart unless you open the door and invite him in. And when when I was a 25-year Christian, what did they always tell you?
Let Jesus into your heart, yeah.
Invite him into
Open your heart and invite him in.
Yeah. And so, I am drawing that parallel to the false son. So on the next slide, we see as he flees, the father flees in defeat. He tells her that he will be back, and next time she will nourish him for a long time. Well, that's what a parasite needs. A parasite needs a host.
Yeah.
A host that he's gonna feed off of, even the dead carcass afterwards. And then she says to him, "Go back to hell, you coward," or you can pronounce it, or you can write it cowherd. A herder, he wants to herd her into a pen where he can control her.
Well, this gets back to the Cain and Abel and the biblical figure of Abel. That's what he was, a herder of men. Yeah.
Yeah. So she tells us that the Father is a hired hand to control mankind, or mankind, which is just another way of saying that we're cattle or property or chattel. Which
we are. All right, this is a slide that I threw in. Again, the synchronicity was just off the charts. Harry and I were preparing to do this today. And this is a screenshot that I took from the Black Sheep researcher who put up a video yesterday on the number 8, the hourglass, and how it's all connected to reincarnation. I'll leave a link to Paul's channel below. I'll leave a link to this particular this video, because he goes into it in depth, how it appears throughout antiquity, the rune symbols. He's absolutely brilliant. I can't thank him enough. Talks about the hourglass was linked to alchemy, appeared in many contemporary prints and works of arts. The hourglass reminds man of his time. So you're born, you die, hourglass gets turned over, you come back, the symbol of reincarnation. He talks about how it appears in Masonic artwork. Greek philosophers believed that time could be defeated, and the metaphysical poets of the 17th century, such as Donnay, expressed the same ethos in their poetry. You guys can stop the video and read that if you want to. But as I say, I'll put a link to the video that I got this screenshot from in the description below. And again, synchronicity, we were talking about making a decision to come back into this realm in order to take it back from the parasites that hijacked it a few hundred years ago. And then guess what pops up yesterday? When you are born in a world you don't fit in, it's because you were born to help create a new one. Harry, I was just like, what the hell is going on with all these synchronicities? Literally, after you and I first spoke about that, what, 4 days ago? No, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days ago. Yeah. 3 days ago, you and I spoke about that.
Yeah, and most people I run into, when they have knowledge like this, either they keep it to themselves or don't really talk about it. And I think it's because they really don't know how much of an impact they can make by sharing this with other people, because it's definitely eye-opening. You don't see the world in the same way as you did prior with that third eye open. You cannot keep your mouth closed. I can't. Everyone I talk to, I tell them about all the stuff we talk about all the time.
It's almost like the universe was talking to us over the last 3 days, saying, get this information out, which is why we're doing this podcast today. I mean, normally we do one, every Wednesday, or your Tuesday night, my Wednesday morning. But, we feel this information is so important, guys, that we really want to get it out there. And then this came in as well. Religion is for people who are afraid of going to hell. Spirituality is for those who have already been there. As I say, the synchronicity of this stuff, this all happened within the last 3 days, guys. Absolutely insane. And just to finish this presentation, or finish this PPT with a bit of wordplay, the veil is lifting. We are seeing the rise of evil around us. Evil is an anagram of veil, or the other way around. Actors, we're seeing all these people, all these actors on the world stage. And again, this relates back to the podcast we did about the horse. If you haven't seen it, guys, it's about four videos back. It's easy to find. Hourglass, which is, what Paul was talking about, the number 8. Is it hourglass, hourglasses, glasses in order to help us see more clearly? Abode is your home, or abode, body. Your body is where your essence, your spirit, your soul lives. Body.
Resides, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We know everything's frequency, sine and sine. It's a sine wave. Recognize the sign, acknowledge it, because in this context, to wave means to acknowledge. You're walking down the street, you see somebody, hi, and you continue walking. You're not going to stop and have a conversation, but you're just acknowledging each other. So when we see these signs, we have to acknowledge them, in my opinion, which again is why we're doing this podcast, because we've seen all these signs. And when we wave to each other, we say hi, and we want to increase our vibration. So high, vibrate higher. And this one's got nothing to do with it. I just threw it in. Jurisdiction was a word that came up in something the other day. And I thought, jury's diction, because diction means to speak. A jury of your peers. So, yeah, you got any comments, Harry?
Yeah, I think perfectly with the ending of that last word, the jurisdiction, I think we have a duty to speak. I tell people all the time, whatever knowledge I have, it would be terrible for me to hold it to myself and not share it. And,
well, you know, there's that old cliche, knowledge is power, right? Mm-hmm. And even well before I became aware of all this or woke up, whatever phrase you want to use, I used to educate. I used to run seminars on investing, property investments and so on and so forth. You know, and knowledge is, I used to teach way back then, I'm talking 20 years ago, that knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. Because if you don't use that knowledge, how can it be powerful? It's not powerful if you're not using it.
Yeah, it's like the pendulum that you pull it back and you hold on to it. You got to let it go so it can achieve its kinetic energy. And if we never speak about what we know, it's locked away for either for our own benefits or to the detriment of everyone else.
Yeah, it's like putting all the books in a library and locking the door and throwing the key away. You know, nobody's got access to that information or that knowledge. You know, so yeah, knowledge is only potentially powerful, because if we don't use it and we don't share it, it has no power whatsoever.
So in every video, we always say the same thing. We want you out there to make a comment, tell us if we've missed anything, and give us your opinion on what we've shared today during this podcast. Well,
I just thought of something, because I know somebody out there is going to make a comment if I don't acknowledge this right now. We spoke earlier on about paradise, paradiso being a pen, and a pen is an area that is fenced off, right? But a pen is also something we write with, and a write is a ritual. We spell, we make sentences. What's a sentence? You're sentenced to prison, when you go to jail. So I'm fully aware of the pen connection to the Garden of Eden, as it were.
As we always say, it's not a coincidence that these words.
Oh, no. This was all constructed. Absolutely. Which is why you've got, if you go back into the official narrative, the official history, why English is essentially the world language. It's the language of commerce, right? You know, even here in China, if you want to work in any kind of commerce and trade with another country to sell your goods, if you don't speak English, then you can't do it, you know. And even if a Chinese factory is conversing with somebody, let's say in Germany, they both have to converse in English. So it's and I know this from experience when I used to work in that field. That's why English has become the language of commerce, the world, the international language.
It's the language that bridges everyone else together.
Absolutely, and that's why it's occulted the way that it's been occulted. So, anything you'd like to finish on, Harry?
I think we covered it all. I mean, it's crucial to understand that. I think one of the best lessons that we're going to ever learn is love everyone, no matter what. And don't go into that light because the guy on the other side is really just there to fool you.
It would be really, really cool if anybody out there knows who that guy in that little TikTok video is. And then, you know, if anybody watching this knows who he is, get him to go and look at this video and tell him thanks for his contribution. Exactly. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Links will be below. Please like, share, subscribe. And where are we? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll be back in another 3 days.
All right.
All right.